The next thing I'm going to show you is not a lapis at all. I'm showing you this to distinguish it from lapis. This is called a dumortierite. In and of itself, it's a beautiful, incredible material. But since I focus and specialize on lapis, I didn't want much of this in my collection at all. So I only kept one to teach myself what it's all about. There is a photograph somewhere out there, a macro shot of a dumortierite in quartz, and it's got to be one of the most incredible things that I've ever seen. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Modern Rock Scene. Today we've got a really fascinating one. This is dumortierite. I only have one of these roughs in a massive crystal habit like this. Part of the reason is there was always a nickname to this. Since I'm a collector of lapis from the greatest historical mine in Afghanistan, the nicknames, one of them was the poor man's lapis, the other one is desert lapis. I only collected one in order not to become confused about anything in this collection. However, let's see what this stuff is all about. One of the most amazing things about dumortierite is the crystallization of this material. It's famously used to fabricate porcelain. So I'm thinking it must have something in common with what they call porcelain picture jaspers, because that fact suggests there's some very fine crystallization going on in here. And as we will see in the last installment of dumortierite this week, I'm calling it dumortierite week, we are going to see the very specifics of how the material crystallizes. The location, it's the Vaca Morta Quarry, Bahia, Brazil. That's where some of the most amazing stuff and the material that we're going to be looking at closer to the weekend. Notice the denim color. The material is rich in aluminum. When we do a macro on this material, we're going to see what the pleochroism is. Here it goes from red to blue to violet. The Mohs hardness scale for lapis is about 5.5. The hardness of this material is about 7 to 8. So there's a very distinct difference. Dumortierite is a fibrous type of crystal, so the strength of the rock is going to be a lot higher. The very last detail, I guess, is that the one that we're looking at right here and right now has this massive crystal habit. So the rough is a big, kind of a lapis looking rock. And we're going to talk about displaying rocks either wet or dry, because I've seen a lot of people make a very ridiculous mistake that makes them kind of look silly. They don't know the conventions of the rock market, but we will get into that. I'm thinking at some point we're going to kind of take a special focus on the rock market and its conventions, because this is kind of like a metals market on a very small scale. In my world, it's actually been better. Now let's take a real close look before we take a really close look. I have noticed, just like strawberry quartz, I've only recently become very interested in this material. It also looks like crayon marks. I know these are very outlandish descriptions. Well, they're like little dots throughout. There's like little black dots, little blue ones, very deep blue ones. So it has almost a Dalmatian spotting. Experienced rockhounds on this channel will remember Dalmatian. Do you see the similarity? It's not exact in any way, but it's sort of Dalmatian-y. Now that's what I wanted to show you. We are going to be cutting some of this rock up. I don't want to cut too much of it because as a dumortierite, it's an excellent specimen. So we will move on. There's a lot more to do here. Let that be, I guess, our second look at this big crystal of dumortierite with this very deep patch of color right here. This is the last time we're all going to see it intact like that, but I will be careful about how I cut the stone because I do want to keep the integrity of just the beauty of its natural shape. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate being with you again. Here we go.